We all learn when we're very young how and what is going to work in order to get what we need, to get our needs met. Okay, that's just normal. Okay, that we have a certain hierarchy of needs, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and we learn how to do it. So some people, you'll tend to have maybe women be more, generally a broad stroke of women be more passive, but they've learned how to get what they need by doing that. Men could be more aggressive, more pushy, more having no doubt, more confidence in what they're saying. Okay. But that's what they've learned by how they've been grown up. They've been taught to actually go do that. Okay. So we've been taught by other examples on TV, from people that we've grown up with, from teachers. We're all taught this is right and this is wrong, and we pick up on those. Okay. Now it's a broad stroke to say that, because maybe that isn't true. But I want to tell you, every one of these you can change. You can change how you show up in any situation. And boy, does it it's all based on how much you accept yourself. Okay. When you accept yourself, you can pick how you show up in any one of these. Okay. So passive, I lose, you win. That's their mental framework. Aggressive, I win, you lose. That's their mental framework. Okay. Now you think of they're looking, they're almost putting on glasses that are that color, and that's their prerogative. That's how it feels when they're coming across. Remember, this is feeling too. Passive aggressive is I lose and you lose. Okay. And assertive is I win, you win. So obviously this is the most healthy. Okay. We both win. It's a win-win. So now we're going to come across these in different situations. A lot of times, if you're coming across passive, you feel a little bit helpless. Now, any one of these is easy to rewire, or just choose something to do slightly different and it changes. Okay. So passive, this is this one. Okay. You don't think that you have any say in how things turn out. You really don't think that you have any influence. Okay. It reduces your sense of independence, that you can influence anything. Okay. It's often appreciated by an aggressive communicator, because they can actually talk to a passive person and they will just get their way. So aggressive people seek out passive people. And in fact, this is why some people get into abusive relationships and repeat them over and over and over, is because they don't change their style. Certain people look for certain people. So now when you're looking to hire somebody, what type of person is that? If somebody's passive who's doing the hiring, they'll hire somebody like them. But is it the right person for that team? Who knows? You tend to hire people who are like you. You're looking for that confirmation bias. Okay. Now, a passive person, again, they don't think they have any say in how things turn out. They're calm on the surface and submissive, but they're frustrated or angry underneath. And they're not going to tell you that, but there's sometimes resentment building. They just ignore it. They a lot of times avoid eye contact. They have a soft voice, apologetic. Any of these things you can write down, because I want you to understand the scientific explanation of these. They would avoid confrontation. They're going to be more lean back, or don't lean at all with the situation. They're just going to let it play out and not play into it. Okay. They're people pleasing. They refuse compliments. They feel like victims. They blame others. They cannot make decisions. Okay. So I can see myself in this years ago. I can see that I was blaming my husband for XYZ. I was not able to make a decision myself. Now I'm not like that. Okay. But I've changed. I've rewired myself. And I would avoid confrontation before. Now I don't. It's okay. I'm not afraid, because I feel like I accept who I am. And if I make a mistake, it's okay. It's all good. Okay. Now, when you're talking to a passive person, here's some tips. Okay. So this is what I want you to write down in that sheet is also, you could say something like, I'd like to discuss whatever it is, blank. Okay. Can you help me out with this problem? They have ideas, but you have to get it out of them. Like, are you sure you don't want to consider blank? Can you forgive me is a good way to start. Leroy says, passive does not make commitment. It takes passion to make commitment. It does. It takes, you got to be decisive. And again, now watch, to make a commitment, Leroy, and everybody, you have to actually accept yourself for who you are, and you have to accept that you could make a decision that is not going to work out, and you could make a decision that is, but there's got to be some form of acceptance and competence in order to have passion and make a commitment. And remember, these people do not feel that they can actually influence anything. A passive person doesn't feel that they can influence anything, and it's really frustrating for them. So I'm trying to give you the psychology. So if you can feel how they feel, because I told you we have all felt all of these. If you can feel how they feel right now in this presentation, take this time. If you can feel how they feel, you can jot down on that worksheet how to get through to them. Because if you can feel it, you know what you wanted somebody to do for you. Okay. Yeah, it's not, we don't want to call them actually passive. These are communication styles, but they would generally act out or have a passive communication style. Passive situations, but not passive people. So it's their communication style. Yeah, to be specific. Now, some ways to talk to them. Can you forgive me? That's going to get their attention. I'll do whatever you ask me to do. That's going to get their attention. You're coming down and meeting them where they are. No one ever listens to me anyway. This is how they feel. Okay. Now, they also will say those things, but if you can meet them where they are, you can get to more of an assertive. You can start to mimic and be assertive, and they will follow. So people who communicate with passive people, when you communicate with them, you typically feel frustrated because they're not hearing the facts. Okay. They're not hearing the facts. You can feel exasperated. It can feel unproductive. It can feel like a waste of time. You can feel guilty over not knowing what they want. Okay. Sometimes people take advantage of these people. You can take over the role of facilitator for them. If you start to facilitate them and ask them and kind of pull them along, you have to be more of a facilitator with them, and it will help them to be less submissive. Okay. So acknowledging that they're worthy in a way, like you have to somehow acknowledge they're worthy and that what they do say has an influence. If we start to get them going in that area, we can start to get them going, period, and out of their shell. So don't be afraid to voice your opinion. Now, if you do this, I've done this, okay, with different people. You have to do it several times. The first time they might come with you. The second time they might not come with you when you try to lead them out and facilitate them and have them be a little bit less passive, okay? The first time they might come with, the second time they may doubt you, but if they see a consistent pattern of you including them, they will keep coming with you. They'll start to build a trust with you. So this is what's necessary with this type of communication. So don't be afraid to voice an opinion and to disagree with them. Practice making eye contact. Practice like body language with them, speaking up and not fidgeting with them. Now, if you're this kind of person, you want to be able to speak up and not fidget. You want to fill yourself with confidence, and you want to show it in your body language. A lot of us can be passive in communication. We may not be aware of it, but you can be. Like I've been very passive with one of my with my ex-husband. I was very passive. I didn't know how to do it, so I didn't do anything. Okay, but now I learned when I was with him, and our relationship changed dramatically for the better when I learned how to speak up and say, no, I want to do this, or I want to do that. And he was like, okay, let's do this, or I don't want to do that, but you can do it. So when I started to learn how to not like be passive, or not like to speak up and to try to have that eye contact and not be afraid to voice my opinion, what I did is that gave me a lot of confidence, and it shifted our relationship to a lot better one. Okay. So I had to do that in order to shift it. So there's different ways to get people to come out of that shell. And then there's different ways, if you're being one of those people, to actually start to voice your opinion. And so if you're talking to somebody who's passive, you can say, I understand your point. Okay. I can see what you're trying to say. Your argument makes sense. You want to give them some type of validation. You want to give them something that makes them feel like they can influence the situation. Okay. So this is this. So now aggressive is I win, you lose. Okay. This style can be intimidating. We have all worked with somebody like this, or we have been in a conversation with somebody like this. It can feel argumentative and hostile. Okay. These people feel their opinions are more worthy and important than the other people on their team members or their clients or whatever it is. Okay. This is pretty much how it feels. Now, if you're the person on the receiving end of this, you can definitely feel it. Now, after you're feeling it, you want to control. Yeah, it can feel bullying. The first thing to do is slow down. Remember, I had that meditation thing. So you can learn a meditation, like go to your breath and breathe in and breathe out. And there's this Ujjayi breath that I've taught people where you just breathe in and you can hear the sound of your breath in the back of your throat. It's like, no, you're not doing it that loud, okay? But it's like almost like you're blowing on your glasses, where you go on your glasses to get them all fogged up, and then you wipe them off. It's like that, but your mouth is shut. But you can do it real slow. If you do that real slow in, slow out, it actually stimulates the parasympathetic, the relaxation response. So if somebody's doing this to you and they're acting in a more of an aggressive style, you can start to do that type of breathing, which allows you to regain composure, decide how you want to work with this person. Now, you don't right away, you'd get defensive. That's not necessarily the way that's going to get out of this. So, this person has learned that this works for them. But if it doesn't work because you've outsmarted them or you've learned how to work with somebody like this, as soon as you learn how to work with aggressive people, you're going to know the rest of your life. So, it's really worthy to try some of these ideas and to put them into practice, because when you learn, the problems, you won't encounter them. You're going to be okay. And it all comes basically down to, I always front load these classes. Okay. It all comes down to acceptance of yourself. If you accept yourself, these people can't get to you. They can't bully you. Believe me, I've been in a lot of situations with people who are like this. And especially when I do divorce coaching, because attorneys tend to do this back and forth with each other, and you have to kind of go above it. You have to rise above it to see through it. And then you're cool. As soon as you can rise above it, you're cool. And you can start to make decisions that are strategic and use your critical thinking. Okay. So these people tend to take charge and make their own decisions without consulting anybody else. They're more likely to argue. Okay. When they encounter problems, they're likely to blame others than take responsibility. They can become angry when somebody else takes control of the interaction. So somebody else is taking credit for something or taking control of a meeting, they can become angry and frustrated. It looks like they're hostile. You can feel their body language right away. They have a dominant posture, gestures, and their voice, their volume is loud. Okay. You can come back with this type of person and take them away. So this is very, like, we've all done this. And these are the people we all try to avoid, because a lot of times we try to avoid these people. Okay. Aggressive, that's an interesting conversation. Okay. But we need, at this point, if you're going to talk to this person, if you're going to talk to this style person, it's we need to talk. Okay. And so you can pull them aside if you're in a group meeting or something and we need to talk, or you can actually say, we need to talk. Let's schedule a time to talk later. And you can set up the environment. You can set up where it's going to be so that you feel that you're prepared. You can get prepared and kind of control the environment. So you can also say, let's agree to disagree. We've all heard this before. Let's agree to disagree, but you're trying to take the steam out. You're trying to take the air from out their sail, okay, the wind. There's no reason to be upset. Okay, what's going on here? When you come in with just wisdom, it takes the air out of their sail. Like, I'm tired of dealing with this attitude. Do you realize what you have asked me to do? A lot of the times, these people, if you just come in with real clarity, like, you've asked me to do 10 different things, that's not possible, right? What is really going on here? Like, it feels like there is something besides this. Like, if you really can get above it, you want to see above it. Okay. And then look at just the facts and then string together the facts without all the emotion. They tend to actually win their way with emotion. They get you all riled up and then they actually kind of go in and try to take control of something. So I have had plenty of when I do the divorce coaching things, I have had plenty of experience with this, and it's not that hard to get above. It's not that hard to get above. So these people tend to focus on winning at all costs at the expense of others. And they value their needs above everybody else's, right? They frighten, they try to demand, they're abrasive, and this is their way of actually doing something. So how to get above this, again, is to just bring in the wisdom. Like, that's not what we're actually means. Like, stop being, like, you want to just say, this isn't how this is read. These are the facts. Get it down to the facts and be very relaxed in doing it. You have to be relaxed when you're dealing with these people, because as soon as your emotion kicks off, then they're actually going to win, because they will take that emotion and they will harness it. Okay. So this one, you really have to just really be not defensive. Okay. Not be like against them or vengeful, nothing like that. Okay. You just want to say, if they're going to interrupt you, say, hang on, I'm not finished. They're not going to like that, but you want to emphasize your boundaries. Never report like their behavior being aggressive because that's going to amp them up. You never want to give them something that's going to add emotion. If you want to take the emotion down from these people, anything you can do to take the emotion down puts it on an even playing field. Emotion is how they're controlling the situation. So just understand that a calm, slow talking voice and calm feelings is what's going to win there. So the smarter person will win in any of these situations. You have to kind of get above what the communication style is and understand what will work there. So emotion is how this person works. That's how they actually sway people, because people get agitated and then they know how to actually get that to actually go their way. So it has to be relaxed and calm. You can work with empathy in this person, but it's a boundaries and it's real calm. That's what's going to work here. Okay. Now, passive aggressive. This is I lose, you lose. And on the surface, people who use this style of communication seem passive and easygoing, but deep down, they're kind of angry and frustrated. Okay. This manifests itself in like a sarcasm, gossip, rumor spreading, patronizing, and condescending language. Do you want to hear something funny that's true? So on this, I'm dating and on the apps, right? Some people read, some people go very sarcastic and they have like love to have a sarcastic sense of humor. What is Michelle doing over here? Delete, delete, delete. Because I'm going, I do not want to get in a relationship with somebody who is potentially passive aggressive. And so you should see me on the dating apps. It's kind of funny. Okay. But this type of person, they tend towards manipulation and deception. Now, we've all done this as well. Okay. And we can do this. We all are capable of doing this to somebody. And we have all been in a situation where we've done this. Okay. So they appear friendly, but there's something behind it. There's something behind it. Now, again, the more calm you are, and remember I gave you your go-to for communication, feel it. You can always feel this one. Okay. Aggressive is emotional. They're going to try to get you carried away. Passive aggressive, you got to feel it. You can feel underneath, and you need to trust your intuition with this. These people can be charming and very persuasive. Okay. But typically, there's something amiss for you. There's something not aligning. Okay. They're hiding their true emotions. They're like indirectly sarcastic, right? Um, um, Yes. Okay. So Gary says passives can be kittens, submissive, but if they feel bullied, they can transform into lions. Yes. Yes. That's you got it. Okay. So we've all been this. Like they can be sulky. Now remember, if you're into a situation where somebody's being sulky, that's why I have this little spreadsheet or this little like grid for you. Sulky means they're being passive aggressive. And if you can actually put passive aggressive, and you've heard this presentation, you can go, oh, passive aggressive, I need to do X. If they're this, I need to do Y. You see, I wanted you to kind of put your go-tos of what you're hearing and what you're resonating with. But if I'm saying passive aggressive can be sulky, indirectly sarcastic, again, I honestly am on the dating app going, yeah, no, if they're literally saying they're sarcastic, I'm saying, yeah, no, thank you. Okay. On the dating app, I'm thinking I escaped something there. Okay. Now they seem to be acting like there's a hard time. A lot of times they can be like, there's a hard time accepting reality. Okay. They have these different manipulative ways. Now you can actually say like, I understand how you feel, but okay, you said you were willing to compromise. You want to keep them on a steady line. You have to keep them on a steady line. And you can also say it's like really necessary, ... I think you misunderstood me, ... So you want to keep these people on a steady line, not let them take the conversation up and down, but you want to keep it to the facts and keep it straight. So again, I want you to rise above it, use some wisdom. They subtly undermine the person that they're communicating with, even if it means they'll worsen the outcome. Okay. They can be indirectly aggressive. A lot of things can be ironic. They can be devious, two-faced, different things like this. It comes across this way. Now, I want you, when I'm telling you this, these are things that you can feel. People like this gossip a lot. Okay. You want to invest your efforts into calming yourself down and feeling. Okay. They can even speak in a sugary voice to ask you to do something. Okay. if you understand what I'm saying. And so you want to keep your boundaries and keep a steady line, here. And like I said, you can say to them things like, I understand how you feel, but is that really necessary? I think you misunderstood me. You just want to keep a steady line with where you're trying to go and not let them take it up or down, where you're actually kind of communicating. You're the one who's more the dominant one in here and you're keeping it steady. Again, you have to rise above and not let these people pull you one way or another. This talking to somebody who's passive aggressive can feel confusing. To me, it feels confusing. Okay, like they say this and then they say that. And I am like, what do you mean? So to me, I'm not actually sure what they're meaning. And that's definitely one of those people. So when dealing with them, okay, you want to ask them, like, number one, like, ask why. Ask them to state their point of view and request a change, something to change. So I lose, you lose. That's not a good idea. Okay. So asking them why, they never ask them why. This is really a big one psychologically. State your point of view, and then you got to somehow come to an agreement, but you definitely want to hear them first. State your point of view clear, and then request that the change happen however you guys need to change, both coming together to get to this other thing. But you need to take charge of this and keep it steady. Keep it a steady line of communication. Okay. So that's passive aggressive. Now assertive is better. Okay. I win, you win. I was just talking to my friend Claire, who is a coach who works with me. And I was talking to her yesterday on the way I was driving to the dentist. And I said to her, after she just got done communicating and talking to me, and she was talking to me about her feelings. She's turning 60. And it was really fantastic that she was able to communicate how she felt about being 60, which was a big deal. And she said it all, and she said it clearly without a lot of emotion. And I said to her, I just so appreciate talking to you because you really know how to communicate. Like, you said so much to me, you conveyed so much, but most people don't know how to communicate very effectively. And I understood what she said, that she's moved through it. It was stressful for her, but she's ready for being 60. And so it was so clear. And it was so like a highlight of my day to talk to her, because it didn't feel heavy to me. It felt just great to talk to her and fun. So when you talk to somebody assertive, it's both you guys win. That's how it feels. Their style is clear. Okay. You agree on different things. You're not pushy. You're not disrespectful or rude. Okay. It comes from a place of confidence. Okay. As you express your feelings, and you can express your feelings, and it's fine. And there's no like needing empathy or needing compromise. It's just kind. Yeah. It's kind. That's right, Marcy, it's kind. And so there's a consensus, there's a compromise, you can understand it, and feelings are not hurt when somebody knows how to be assertive. Okay. So this is really good. You can be socially supportive, you're balanced. And I'm telling you, throughout all of these, if you're assertive in all of these, as a scientific definition of assertive, it's not just aggressive, it's just being balanced in all of these. And you can express your emotions, and you're in a relaxed nature with relaxed gestures. You're going to be able to achieve your goals without hurting people. This is really where you want to try to go to. So you can hear your son, your daughter, you can hear those people. And if they are not ready to talk, like you've seen in some of these pictures, if they're not ready to talk, it's okay. But you just keep going, and you understand that, and you respect their opinion and their input. Okay. So how to communicate with others. Assertive, if you're communicating with assertive, you take them at face value. You be clear with them. You avoid passive or wishy-washy communication. You just want to give it to them how it is. They don't need sugarcoating. You want to ask them and then let them speak, okay, and offer your ideas. If you're communicating with aggressive, okay, you want to use like using Zoom or some type of remote communication reduces their ability to get their emotions up and intimidate you. So that's really good for an aggressive person. Okay. You do not want to return the aggressive behavior, remember, because that's going to feed that. You want to be patient and calm, rise above it, and express your own opinion and hold your boundary. Just stay there. Don't let them work up your emotions. That's the biggest thing. Okay. You can encourage them, okay, to say whatever they want, and you listen, and then you speak also. So you want to keep it really steady, but you want to rise above that. If you're talking to a passive person, you want to be gentle. Okay. You want to be enthusiastic and encouraging. You want to give them plenty of time and space to talk. Okay. You want to engage with them one-on-one instead of in a group. Okay. Zoom is hard for them. They'd rather be on the phone one-on-one. This is just a general consensus, like a broad stroke. Ask them directly for their opinion. You have to ask them more specific questions. Okay. Keep all criticism and solution oriented. Okay. So it's not an attack on them. And don't ever dismiss their ideas. Okay. This will cause them to shut down. You really want to talk about their ideas and that they're important. Now, passive aggressive, I have the most on this one. Okay. This can severely undercut team morale. If you have somebody passive aggressive, okay, you can do a one-on-one to get them to understand what their dissatisfaction is. Cause a lot of times there's some type of dissatisfaction. So a one-on-one to really understand them. And you might even need one or two one-on-ones because you're going to have to feel out what they're really frustrated with, what they're unsatisfied with. Okay. Encourage them. Another thing is encourage them to do some soul searching and be honest, okay, of where the frustration is coming from and the sarcasm is coming from. Okay. I work with people on this in coaching. Do they feel heard? Are they happy, unhappy? And it's not easy to get through to these people, but they do need to do a little soul searching about how they're coming across to people and how they're not being effective on a team and how they're being received. A lot of times they don't understand the impact. We've all worked with people who don't understand the impact of their behavior. Okay. This can be one of them. Is there an idea that they have that, that some people shut down and it made them frustrated? Sometimes that's the case. You don't want to use this style in return. You don't want to be passive aggressive in return. And I've seen people do this and it actually amplifies it. Okay. You want to be direct, highlight their contribution, hold them accountable. Okay. And do not patronize them. You can paraphrase what they say in assertive style, because when you paraphrase what they say in more of an assertive style, like understanding and feeling and listening and giving the facts, okay, then they can start to mimic that. So you're really trying to lead or facilitate them or coach them into a new way to do that. Okay.